Howdy friends, and welcome to one of my favorite experience videos. As I travel about mainly in the wild frontier, I do find things that I like to do and that are actually accessible. This video is about Jazz Fest in New Orleans, Louisiana, and specifically how you can easily attend this in a wheelchair. Now I know what you are thinking. I'm not a big jazz fan, so I probably wouldn't be interested. So did you know that last year the headliner band was the Rolling Stones? Also, Earth, Wind & Fire, Lizzo, Kenny Loggins, Robert Plant, Ed Sheeran, Joe Bonamassa, Samantha Fish, and many other mainstream artists attend there each year. To get to Jazz Fest, you're going to head to the Fairgrounds Racetrack in northern New Orleans, just east of Metairie and south of Gentilly. There are all kinds of places to stay, from Airbnbs, VRBO houses, hotels, and motels. Accessible lodging is typically going to be found in hotels, as most of the homes, houses, etc. in New Orleans are not very accessible at all. While Jazz Fest is open to everyone, people with mobility issues have to be extra cautious before jumping into a large outdoor venue like this. So if you are in a wheelchair or a scooter, then this video is for you, my friend. I'm going to show you how to navigate around this fantastic musical festival. The first problem you're going to have is finding parking. Accessible parking lot is along the east side of the fairgrounds along Gentilly Avenue. It is a very small lot and it does not open until 11 a.m. We thought the early bird would get the worm, so we got there about 10 o'clock thinking we would get a good spot and wait in our car for an hour or so. But we didn't know that the lot doesn't even open until 11. The good news was that we did get in, but that was a long wait. There is a wheelchair loading zone right near the corner of Fortin and Gentilly, noted on the map. If you can get dropped off and picked up, you will save about $40 to $60 a day for parking close to the fairgrounds. After the first year, we started coming earlier and parking along Esplanade Boulevard and just push our way to the nearest gate. Our group's Jazz Fest itinerary is to meet at Louisa's by the track at 9:30 a.m. for one of their great Bloody Marys. There's a small, spicy garden in the middle of your cup, and the green beans are delicious. We gather and chat with fellow festers until about 20 minutes until the gates open. If there is a line at any of the gates, simply walk past everyone and one of the event staff will direct you to the VIP and wheelchair access lines, which may have all of 4 people in it. The staff is great, and once you go through security screening, you will present your electronic ticket on the Access app. It never takes me more than 5 to 10 minutes to come through with my posse. If you come through the Gentilly gate, you will notice that the paralyzed veterans have wheelchairs for rent. So if you do not bring your own, then you can grab one of the several different models they offer here. Your first destination should be the Access Center, which is heavily marked by signs and other directional aids. At the Access Center, you and one person will be given a wristband and shown how to access the wheelchair-only porta potties throughout the venue. The wristbands will also give you the option to sit in the wheelchair seating areas at most all of the stages. The guest wristbands are not transferable, so pick your music buddy and off you go. Any questions regarding accessibility can be answered at the Access Center. They can help with visual or hearing impaired disabilities, as well as mobility. The staff is wonderful and they're extremely nice and helpful. So what direction should you head first, you ask? The food, of course. You can use the Jazz Fest app to find the type of food you want and look on the map to find it. I always head toward the Heritage Square area in the mornings because the world famous Café du Monde has hot beignets and lattes available, and there is usually only a few people in line when they first open. Let me share some of my favorite foods there. The cochon de lait, which is a pulled pork po' boy with slaw on the bottom and delicious sauce on top. Secondly would be the white chocolate bread pudding as it just melts in your mouth. And my third favorite is the jambalaya. Here's a big tip for you. Don't count on eating all your meals at Jazz Fest because you are in the middle of one of the best culinary cuisines in the world, I would say. Make reservations and visit as many as the local restaurants in and around New Orleans as you can. We always stay extra days just so we can stuff ourselves with these types of delicious dishes. One thing you will notice is that there are accessible paths everywhere. They've put down white grids over the dirt track, grass areas, all throughout the venue to make everything as easy to access as possible. Notice the white grid material in front of the food vendors. If your wheelchair does not work well in grass, then utilize the grids and go right to the front of the lines. I usually wait in line with other festers, but if it has rained or is muddy, no one has ever said anything about me cutting up front. Here's an example of some of the grid material that they use to help you get across the dirt track. Here's an example of the grids to one of the wheelchair-only porta potties. The porta potties have a lock on them, and you are given the combination at the access center. This means that nobody except wheelchair users has access to these oversized porta potties. They're quite roomy, and I've taken my chair in there and can turn around, and there's still room for other people in there if you have somebody that's assisting you. I use a portable electric chair as shown here. Here is a manual wheelchair ramp area by the Sauvage pedestrian gate. This area will have the required ADA slope to help you to get into the venue where it is pretty flat in the infield area. A couple of months before Jazz Fest starts, they will publish what's called the Cubes. This is a list of the bands or artists and where they are performing. You can use your Jazz Fest app, a hard copy of the Cubes, or the Cubes are also posted around the entire venue. It's a great idea in my mind. Find some artists that you think you might want to enjoy so you have an idea where you need to go. And if you get there 20 to 30 minutes before the beginning of the show, you will usually get one of the great accessible seats, plus a guest seat wherever you go. Throughout the day, you will see and hear the jubilant sounds of a parade working its way down through the major pathways. Stop and enjoy the sounds and the costumes.
They dress a lot like we do, don't they? Yeah.
Jazz Fest starts on the Thursday through Sunday of the last week of April and continues the following week, Thursday through Sunday, which is the first weekend in May. It is officially called the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival and began in 1970. Let's take a close look at accessibility at each of the major stages at Jazz Fest, starting with the festival stage, which is the largest. Here is a ride of the festival stage VIP and ADA seating area from the stage looking out. The temperatures at Jazz Fest this time of the year are usually mild by New Orleans standards. The hottest I've seen was in the upper 80s, but the mornings are nice, and since it is on the coast, you will usually get the advantage of some cloud cover. The folks at Jazz Fest also have visual impairment and sign language schedules for the various stages and artists. Just check with the Access Center when you first come in, and they'll give you all that information.
Sitting talking about to do it. Talking about to do it.
Here is one of my favorite sign interpreters. See if you can guess the song. That's right. Right place at the wrong time. Written by Dr. John in the 70s. In fact, the summer of 1973, this song was the number 9 song on the Billboard charts. Our next venue takes us to the exact opposite side of the racetrack, to the shelled Gentilly stage. Here is a ride up the ramp to the Gentilly stage VIP and covered wheelchair access seating area. I'm in my power wheelchair, but you can see that the slope looks like it's ADA requirement, so if you had a manual chair, you could push up here. This shaded area next to the VIP seating is perfect for the middle of the day when the sun's high and you get that nice shade and a cool breeze going through there, plus you can see over the top of everyone. But it's also pretty crowded in there, as you can tell. Let's listen in and see what's happening at the venue. Our next destination is the Congo Square stage. The ADA seating box at this venue is quite a bit smaller, so you need to make sure you get there early if it's somebody you really want to see. Let's head on over to the Fais stage. To get to the Lagniappe stage, you'll go through the grandstand entry area. and it's like an atrium area in the middle of it. Here is a view of the grandstand area. It is the only place in the venue that is air conditioned, so if the heat gets to be a little much, you can park in here and cool off for a while. It's also a great place to go in case it starts raining. So if you see rain coming, head that way and get there before the crowds do. I always take a poncho so it fits over me and my wheelchair, and I usually bring an umbrella for both the sun and the rain. Our next venue is the Economy Hall tent. You don't want to miss some of the obscure and great performances here, so put that on your list. And it was also the first time I heard of a theremin. This instrument was used in some of the old Star Trek shows and other movies. The Jazz and Heritage stage usually features bands from the country that Jazz Fest honors every year. Sometimes it's Colombia or other countries, and artists from those countries come over. And a lot of times you'll see them at this stage and over at the Congo stage. The last major area we'll look at is where all the big tents are. Got the Jazz tent, sponsored by WWOZ. And then you have your blues tent. And of course, the gospel tent, which usually draws a big crowd. Well, I hope you found this video interesting and informative. Usually I'm doing campground reviews, so this is a little bit of a one-off, but I've gone several years now and enjoyed Jazz Fest a great deal. Find that it's easy to get around, and if you like good music, good people, good food, it's a great place to park your wheelchair and move from spot to spot and just enjoy the weather and the tunes that come from everywhere. If you have any questions or comments, be sure and put them below and I'll try to answer those. As always, please like and subscribe to my channel, because you never know, when I go from a campground review to something like this, you'll be the first to know. So from the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, so long.